Welcome back to the Catholic Mom's Journey podcast. Today, episode 7, we're talking about the in-between period, finding your faith and forming life around God. So from the moment that you decide that you're going to follow Jesus or you're convicted to, and that in-between stage from there to being well-formed with God. Not that you're not a Christian the moment that you find Jesus, that you find God, that you find your faith, but there is that kind of like period that you have to go through where I like to call it the desert. Like, you know how Jesus went on the desert for 40 days. He fasted and he was tempted by the devil. That's kind of like what a lot of people go through. You are put under trial and you have to, I guess, fast and make way and figure out like what parts of your old life you're going to get rid of in order to have that relationship with God, that strong relationship with God.
Kind of like that you put like the desert, because it also reminds me of like the moment you kind of start to want to separate yourself a little bit and trying to figure out your faith life and figure out your social life and how does it all mend together and trying to figure out what you want. You kind of have to go through that secluding and walk that desert, that lonely road to, by yourself to kind of figure it out.
Yeah. And knowing what I know now, having gone through that, I'm really glad that I had the support that I did to get to this point. And I know there are a lot of people out there right now that are kind of suffering that loneliness through that journey. And that's the point of this episode, to kind of help you get through that and navigate a little bit better.
I know whenever I converted, I think I was secluding myself. I probably was messaging a lot less. I feel like there is that period where like I started instilling more of like, okay, this needs to be done. Like for my kid, when it comes to my kids, they need to go to church every Sunday. And so that was a big change for, I think, parts of my family, because now it's like, okay, they can't just stay the night. They like, okay, they could stay the night if they're going to be there on Sunday though, but they have to go to church. Somebody has to take them to church, and I'm fine with that. That's my one and only rule. And so, the conversion doesn't only just affect me. It now affects the whole family, how we do things, and then it affects, I want to say the outer family. Extended family. Yeah, there you go. I can't think of the word extended. It affects the extended family too, because now, they have to figure out how to the times, the masses, what church to go to and stuff like that.
Yeah. When I first reverted, I knew that I had to make not only Sundays, but holy days of obligation an obligation.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I just took a blank calendar that we had and I filled in those days. I said, okay, what are the important days, right? All the holy days of obligation, every Sunday mass. I need to know when confessions are. And there's a website for that, masstimes.org, that you can look up adoration, or no, not adoration, I don't think, confession and masses, wherever you're at. And then also we started going to a Catholic school, so any of those events, birthdays, I started making note of their baptism dates, just so that we could kind of give them a little candle and sing happy baptism day to you. Michael has a little song that he does. We actually have our kids' baptism candles around here. There's one of them up there.
So we light it. About doing that. That's cute.
Yeah. We just thought about it. But we'll light it and then have them blow it out.
Aww. Because I'm going to have to pull out the kids now. I actually just came across there, so I'll have to get it back out and try implementing that. I like that.
Yeah, put it on the calendar. So making those days an absolute, it's you're obliged to go. You already know that. And then anything that happens around that it comes second. Prayer time, building that prayer time in the morning, throughout the day. Also think about your actions, everything that you're doing throughout the day as a prayer, whatever your main vocation is. And with this podcast, our main target audience is moms, specifically Catholic moms, and anyone else can watch as well. But for us Catholic moms, find, what is that quote from? I think it's Saint Teresa of Avila. Find God within the pots and pans. That's something that I think about a lot, because I do get like, I find myself getting frustrated while I'm like washing dishes for the 5th time in the day. And then I remember that quote and I'm like, okay, this is the hard work, the hard unseen work that we're doing, because we're literally forming our kids. These days are their foundation that they're going to recall when they're older.
Mm-hmm. For me, I've always had kind of a small friend group ever since I had my oldest. I had her pretty young. From there, having her, I kind of lost a lot more friends. And then working all the time, I didn't necessarily lose friends from becoming a Catholic. If anything, it was a bigger change just within me and how I presented myself outside in my social life, as far as like we say grace even if we're out in public, when we're sitting down eating our meal at a restaurant. So I think it's just different. For me, it was just a different setting, and for a lot of my family members seeing me now doing these different practices. I wouldn't say I lost any friends, because all the friends that I have made are pretty much all within the church.
You like
And
made
are
them on the
Catholic.
way up
Yeah,
as you were
made
getting
them.
to know God more.
Yeah. And a lot of them are also still on the journey of like, we're all on a different journey and understanding on where we all are at. You know, some people that I am friends with are deeply Catholic and are like cradle Catholics, which if you don't know, cradle Catholic means that you were raised Catholic, your parents were Catholic. And then I've also had some friends that are kind of like me, convert or struggling with their faith and stuff like that. How about you?
When I started taking my relationship with God seriously, at that point I had already distanced myself from a lot of people. So I'm the type of person that I like to get to know everybody. And growing up, I was like, everybody knew me. I knew everybody. So I was kind of bouncing around from friend group to friend group. And I've heard that that's like a red flag person, but I'm just a social butterfly. That's just the type of person I am. And then I have like a group of close friends. So I've always just been a social butterfly, but I have my core group of friends. And those are the people that I really like let in, and they know like the deepest parts of me. I'm also very open, so I do talk about those things, but I've learned to kind of like close off over time. And when I had that vision with Jesus, I was already so isolated, because at that point I had 4 kids, and all my party friends had kind of like slowly stopped inviting me, because I was a mom, and I was also kind of like going through a lot in my life and just venting to them about the same things over and over again. So I was bringing the vibe down at the parties. My core friends always stayed the same. Those people saw all those parts of me. So I didn't suffer with those relationships at all. If anything, on the way up, getting to know God, and the more time that went by, it actually strengthened our relationships. And most of them are not even Catholic or practicing regularly if they are Catholic. That's crazy, because you would think with the culture that we had just a few years ago, before Christianity had this boom in social media, if you were Christian or Catholic, you were devout, you were kind of seen as like judgmental, and people didn't want to get too close to you. But luckily I had such strong bonds with these people that they kind of stuck with me.
Do you think that like if you were still just getting to know them, that they still would be your friends in the process of you converting? Like if you didn't have this bond?
Yeah, because of the type of people they are. I think we all have that kind of keen eye of like who to trust. And so that's how they became my close friends. So I think if I had met them on the way up, they would totally still support me, just because of the people that they are. And I am starting to see kind of like small cracks of like, one of them is talking about God. We've never had that conversation ever. And she's saying, she just told me recently, like, I know I don't have a religion, but I do pray. I was like, whoa, we've never talked about that before. It was really cool. So friend groups, right? Like the people that I was just with that were more of like the party life that didn't really have any depth to it, just naturally kind of fell away. Family members in the beginning of the conversion, there were a couple people that were kind of like, ugh. One person asked me out of the blue, why Catholic? And I didn't know how to answer that because they were Catholic themselves. I wasn't able to articulate yet the relationship that I'd found with God. And it's such a personal relationship that we have. Like, how am I supposed to explain that? And I'm sure like this person that asked me, they're more like, they would be more interested in the theology and the history of things. Whereas mine was like, my reversion was a emotional connection.
And I have one friend that I've been friends with since elementary school. And she's always been there for me. And I'm still friends with her to this day. And so even her, I don't think she cares, because we went on vacation to go visit her and spent some time down in Florida. And even then we went to church and stuff like that. It's not something that became like a topic, or like I don't think that she ever felt like, oh, I can't talk to her or anymore or anything. It was just like we picked up back where we left off, and there was no, I don't think anybody should feel like they, like, oh, I'm Christian now, I need to leave this whole group. Unless the group is like really harmful to you or like leading you down the wrong path. I think people should always, your friends are going to be there for you no matter what. And they know the true you, and they should know that you're not ever going to judge them and make them feel some type of way.
Because they know your character.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like the whole Christian landscape has changed recently. But before that, Christianity was a caricature of a person that was like judgmental. Like, they hate certain people. They hate sinners, when really the church is a hospital for sinners, not a museum for the saints. And I'm glad that you said that we shouldn't, when we're in that process of conversion, entering into a deeper love with God, a deeper relationship with him, I'm glad that you said that we don't have to get rid of people that aren't on that same same journey.
Yeah, because,
right? Because
just like you said, somebody is now talking to you about, Jesus, or we're praying, and now they feel that comfortability to be able to explore that. Or if you have another friend in that friend group that's maybe reaching a dark time, then now they feel like they can maybe talk to you, or maybe lean on to prayer to see if that even helps them. And
just by being an example of it. Yeah, it's crazy now thinking back on it, because now I'm so like well formed within my Catholic faith that I can look back on it with healed eyes. But now I'm thinking back, I'm like, you know what? These friends that I'm talking about that stuck by me that whole time, I actually had the temptation to get rid of them. I was like, well, now I'm Catholic and she's not. This one's pagan. This one is worldly. She has no affiliation, no religious affiliation. I can't have her in my friend group. And I'm so glad that never went past a thought. I think that was from the devil, because he's like, okay, well, if you're going to go up, you're not going to take them with you. But naturally, there's just like, the closer you get to God, naturally your people kind of follow you a little bit. How can they not? They're going to see that change within you. There's no doubt that when you get closer to God and you develop that prayer life and that discipline, people are going to see that. They're going to see it physically change within you. I mean, just 3 years ago, I look completely different. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up. I look completely different. And I sound different, and I just was not confident in myself. But now I feel like I'm back.
I feel like happier and peaceful. Happier and peaceful, I feel like, is the way I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Not filled with anxiety.
And trying to control things.
Yeah, controlling every last little bit, worrying nonstop. I just feel like, don't get me wrong, like bills and like cars breaking down, stuff stacking up, it does come tumbling down. so then I have that moments of like, I feel like Peter when he took his eyes off of Jesus on the water, and I took my eyes off him, I started to worry, and then I kind of pulled myself back, and then I'm like, I got it, never mind, I don't need to worry. It'll be okay, we'll figure it out. It's not gonna be the end of the world by tonight if we don't figure this out.
I don't know where my phone is. I need to show you this TikTok right now. I feel like we should do like a reaction to TikToks. There's this girl with a whiteboard, and she's talking about how when we pray to God and we're standing right next to him and we're like, all right, God, I trust you. Like, I'm giving you my life. But then something starts to pull you away a little bit and you get scared, and then you jump off the edge and you rely on alcohol and drugs. And I got to show this to you. I was like so happy because I've been thinking about that.
While she is pulling that up, I did want to share a little scripture. So we have Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 26. Looking up the verses to kind of talk about for today, I really like this one. So it says, and I will give you a new heart, and I will place in you a new spirit, and I will take away the heart of stone from your body, and I will give to you a heart of flesh, and I will give to you a heart of flesh. And I feel like that spoke to me so much, just because that to know that all my hardship and everything is kind of going away, like he's now taking it over, and I can start off brand new in my faith, in my spiritual journey with him. So it doesn't matter your past or anything.
And during your conversion,
I just really love it. It's just so beautiful.
During your conversion, you're going to feel that like pull to the past. Like you're going to be reminded of, oh, remember when you were like this? Remember the lies you told? Remember the people you hurt? Remember the things that you did? It's going to be a constant battle. But the moment those enter your head, you got to pray. You got to give it up.
Coming up with this, I literally thought about all that. I'm like, man, all the things that I'm wondering, like, who knows me that knew me in middle school and high school, and like she's doing a Catholic podcast. Like, what? I remember that girl like getting high with me one day. Like, so those thoughts will definitely enter your mind, but don't ever think that you're not worth it to Jesus. He wants you, and he's gonna meet you wherever you're at in that spot.
Saul was literally killing people for talking about Jesus. And then he got blinded, and then he got healed, and now he's Paul. Okay, here.
Now he's Paul.
Now he's Paul.
Say it with attitude.
Okay, here. You need to watch this.
You guys have got to start relying on God. Let me show you. Big man is up here, okay? Here he is. Look at him in all his glory. He tells us to focus our eyes on him, lean not on our own understanding, okay? So let's say we're next to him. Let's say in our minds, we're putting ourselves right next to him every day. We're reading the Bible. We're digging into scripture. We're doing a Bible study. We're putting ourselves right next to him. So when all these things happen in our lives, we go, oh, we don't need to understand. We don't need to understand. You understand for me. That makes us joyful. Then we go through a hard breakup and we go, this doesn't make sense. But didn't I tell you to not lean on your own understanding? I took that relationship out of your life because he was cheating on you and you didn't even know. I took that relationship out of your life because you kept telling your friends that you weren't happy. You kept praying to me that if it's not meant to work out, don't let it work out. So there God is. Here you are. We are meant to live on the plane of existence where we are so close to God. We are talking to God. We are relying on God. We are trusting. So when all this garbage goes on down here, we are mentally above it. But you know what society glorifies? Society glorifies whenever you go through a breakup, you take yourself, right? And then you bounce off this diving board and you land into a giant pool where you drown in alcohol and your sorrows. Rather than staying up here with your discernment, your sober mind, and recognizing the lesson in it. So you keep asking for knowledge, you keep asking for wisdom, and then whenever it's given to you, you jump off this platform and down here, and now all the lessons you could have learned are in this pool with you. We are supposed to have a regulated nervous system, a sober mind. We're supposed to rely on God, not our own understanding. Not supposed to have fear. Not supposed to idolize people. But why? Why are all these things crucial? For growth. It says whenever we diligently seek God, we will find him. That's a magnifying glass. But are you diligently seeking if whenever you go through a hardship, you drown? That's why a core fundamental is putting your trust in God. If you truly do that, then in the moments you will see the lessons. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it costs you all you have, get understanding. If you are praying for something and then something happens that throws you everywhere, prayer hands, you better be thanking God. Because what just happened was you just came up here, you asked a question, or you asked something to happen. God literally made it happen for you. And then instead of staying here and rationalizing through it and go, okay, praying about it, what am I supposed to take from this? You just jumped right back down into your bad habits, which is going to lead you again to having to go back up here. And then you're going to jump back down. And then you're going to go back up here. Break the cycle. If you are going through hardship right now, stay here. You can look down on your own life and all this stuff happening, but do not try and figure it out, because we're not supposed to lean on our own understanding. As soon as we try and lean on our understanding, what we're doing is we're jumping down into the midst of the chaos when we didn't need to, because he told you that he will figure it out. He will show you what to do.
Isn't that a great TikTok?
Yeah, that was. Because I feel like that society does tell you to, like, I have a breakup, go out and get wasted, go out and hook up with somebody else to forget about that person, go out, it's like all this other stuff, and it's just like, or you pray about things and then next thing you know, you're on this roller coaster of emotions of things happening in your life and you're like, what is going on? I don't understand, and trying to figure it out, and it's just like
Just digging a deeper hole for yourself. You don't even realize
instead of
it.
just being like, okay, don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna just trust in you, God, and I'm just gonna finish my day out.
Moms, this is why it's very important for us to be that guardian of what our kids consume. Because thinking about the things that we grew up with as millennials, or if you're a Gen Xer or even Gen Z, the things that we grew up with in Hollywood and the songs that we heard on the radio, insane. Like, why were we watching videos and movies of teens partying and hooking up and doing these things? Who is in charge of that? People who don't want us to be close to God, because being close to God is not profitable. Drinking is. Going out and partying with your friends, getting new outfits, putting on makeup, all that. I'm not saying that you can't like look cute and stuff and go out with your friends, but when you go through a hard time, movies would tell us, like, just go out with your friends. Get wasted. How do we cope? What do we do when we're going through a hard time? Emotional regulation, breathing techniques, prayer, take it to adoration. I mean, our kids, like my kids right now, are still too young to really like get that in their mind, but they know at least like adoration is there. They know what the rosary is. They know the prayers. They know the Divine Mercy Chaplet. Like, that's going to come in handy in the future when they do go through something really hard, and then they remember like, oh yeah, like that's there for me. And hopefully I'm there. I plan to be there for that.
For me, what I did when I was going through a rough time and I kept just feeling like, oh, I just want to go get high, or I just want to get something to drink. I just feel like I need something to just like ease this pain that I'm feeling. I had to keep checking myself, because then in the back of my, like, part of me was telling me to, but then the other part of me was telling me like, no, you know this is wrong, don't do it, you know this is wrong. And so I had to keep checking myself, like, why am I wanting this? Why am I wanting to do this? And it goes back to, because you can go out with your friends, have a good time, but also, why are you drinking? Is it because you just broke up and you just want to forget all this memories, forget the pain that you're feeling right now? Or is it because, hey, we just won a, I don't know, you won an award and you're having a casual drink to, there's different things. If you're doing it to suppress a certain feeling, then that's wrong. If you're doing it to be casual and just because you know, it's an enjoyment time, nothing that you want to get like a blackout from, then that's different, you know? So for me, I had to keep telling myself, why am I doing this? And I had to try to keep my feelings in check.
Yep. Be sober-minded. The devil prowls around like a roaring lion.
Let's see. What kind of helped you during like your conversion time? For me, it was Alpha and going through Alpha, because that's where I kind of found myself. But then I also realized I connected with the moms group, and that helped too. So getting to know other moms that were also feeling the same way I was feeling.
Community.
Yeah.
I would say that's number one, is the community. I joined a bunch of groups in the church. I went to almost everything. And then slowly I kind of like whittled it down to what I could actually do, like making sure that I was mom first and homemaker first, and then what I could realistically do throughout the week without getting too burnt out. Because that's something I do notice with new converts, is that we want to dive in to everything and then we get burnt out. So don't feel bad if you're doing a ton of stuff right now, a ton of ministries. Just give yourself grace, bring it down, maybe do 1 or 2 things a week. If you're finding yourself getting a little bit too deep into the waters, just pull back. It doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It's just you're human and you only have so much time.
Yeah.
For sure, having a very faithful husband. He's always been very grounded. So he is the pillar. Like in Catholicism, Saint Joseph is known as the pillar of the family. Fun fact, he's also the terror of demons. So I like that. Jesus is foster father, Mary's husband. Yeah. In the Bible, do you want to know what his favorite quote is? His best quote?
Yes. What is it? Are you asking me or are you telling me?
It's nothing. He said absolutely nothing.
Oh. I'm like, you're staring at me. I'm like, was I supposed to guess it?
I threw in an Easter egg for all you cradle Catholics that know what that means. No, St. Joseph said nothing. He literally, like, he would get visions in his dreams from the angels. Like, he thought about leaving Mary when she was pregnant because he knew it wasn't his. And he was going to quietly divorce her. And then an angel came to him in his dream and was like, no, just stay. She's pregnant with the Son of God. And so he listened. And then when, I'm going to butcher this, but there was a ruler. Okay, I'm new at this. There was a ruler who found out that Jesus was going to be born, or he was already born, and he like killed all of the boys that were 2 and under because he didn't want to lose his place in the throne. So an angel came to Joseph once again in a dream and was like, you need to flee and I'll let you know when to come back. So he was always very like obedient. Yeah. So Saint Joseph is known as the pillar of families, and that's what Michael has modeled himself after Saint Joseph, and that tremendously helped. But for people who don't have that, which is a lot of women who don't have that, if you're going through this faith journey, build that community. Find one person after Mass that you'll see, like, the Holy Spirit will kind of guide you. Like, you'll notice people that you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happened with us.
Yeah. I feel like I always got led to, like, say something. Just talk to her. Just say hi. Start a conversation. And then it just took me, I have to force myself, and I'm literally having a whole conversation in my head before I talk with this person. And
you're thinking too much.
Yeah.
Don't make it too hard.
I make it way harder in my head, and I'm just like, go do it. Go do it. Go do it.
Just
finally,
go talk.
I just walk. Yeah.
They're a real person too.
My family through the church, friends and people that I've met through the church are almost like a second family. I could talk to them about anything, even if I'm not even close with them. I know that I can go to certain people and just tell them my life story and feel no judgment.
I feel the same way. There's something special about that bond, because like we know we're all there for a reason. And I think programs like Alpha and the Rescue Project, which our parish does, it really opens up that conversation. So just knowing, like, seeing these faces at these programs, you already know that they're willing to be vulnerable and they're willing to listen.
2, I think, well, my husband helped me in the sense of keeping me in check. I felt like, especially during like the beginning stage, you still have that pull of, oh, you're too tired, don't go to church, don't go to mass, you know, just lay in bed. And especially during the hard times that Omar and I had, it was like, okay, I was just so broken down and just, okay, I didn't want to go to mass and stuff. He was the one to kind of say like, hey, you gonna go? What time are you going? And like,
I love that.
So he kind of kept me in check to keep going and or to make sure I'm praying with the kids at night and stuff like that. But yeah, if you are a woman or a mom who is a single parent, find that community.
Start small. It doesn't even have to be like a big community like we're talking
No.
about. We do happen to go to a very big parish, and it's thriving as far as evangelization goes and the community itself. But if you're in a smaller town or you have a smaller parish, you don't have as many resources, find just that one person like that you can confide in. Slowly build those relationships. And if you are like I was in the beginning, I was afraid to develop relationships because I was afraid to lose them because of all the people I'd lost. But don't freak yourself out so bad before even approaching this person and creating this narrative in your head like, okay, they're already going to judge me. No, don't just go. Just do it. Just go talk to them. Start up a conversation. And you may not have that deep relationship right away, but you can develop that. Like that's how we were. We just kept hanging out, and we're complete opposites. I feel like with certain things, I'm very like energetic and loud, and she's like very straightforward and a little bit softer spoken, and I'm bouncing off the walls.
Like this is how editing goes. She has to turn my voice up and she has to turn hers down. So we're complete opposites. And for me, I feel like I'm loud. At least I'm loud at my household, and feel like me and my kids, somebody's always yelling and being loud. And even if they're not even necessarily yelling, it's just the voice is loud. So I feel like we're loud and I feel like I'm loud, but then apparently I'm not.
I mean, you are now because we're like, we know each other well enough, but like in the beginning, like when you're figuring each other out.
Try not to, if you are more of an introvert, push yourself to join groups because it definitely helped me. You'll feel part of a community. You'll know that you're not alone. You're just like every mom that has stress, feeling overwhelmed, never-ending piles of laundry. We signed up to create life, but all the stuff that we don't realize comes with it, the everyday cleaning. There's plenty of people willing to hear you out and with no judgment, and that will be there for you. Or if you're even struggling to put food on the table, there's a lot of services that the church or people that you'll get to know that will help you out and you won't even realize it. They'll be there for you. A saint that we kind of thought about for this podcast was St. Paul the Apostle. He was known as the Great Convert, formerly known as Saul of Tarsus. Paul was a fierce prosecutor of Christians before embracing the faith. He contributed actively to the arrest and condemnation of many of them. His conversion took place on the road of Damascus, where he was struck by a dazzling light and heard the voice of Christ. With the religious zeal and enthusiasm that sustained him for the rest of his life, Paul made everyone forget his past sins, becoming the greatest missionary in the church of all time. He courageously faced imprisonment and martyrdom and left letters that are the basis of the doctrine of the church. His conversion is a symbol of the possibilities of redemption for everybody. So you can lean on him if you feel like your past disqualifies you from being with Christ. We all have a past, and we all struggle with our past, and we even struggle to the very today. And so don't ever feel like you are not good enough. God literally meets you where you are at. Try not to feel ashamed, because I feel like everybody has a beautiful story, and everybody has a hard past. And I feel like that, if anything, that makes your story worth telling because somebody else can relate to it.
Every saint has a past. Every sinner has a future. And the reason why we give ourselves grace and we have to give others grace is because that grace comes from God. And we do have to go easy on ourselves as mothers, and we do have to extend that grace to others in the midst of their conversion. And, we've been using this word conversion, reversion, like throughout the podcast, because that's like the basis of what this is. But I had a thought. I was wondering, like, can we continually convert as we go throughout our journey? Is there not like one moment where you're like, all right, I'm converted, I'm good, there's nothing else that I need to do? And I was thinking, like, no, I feel like we have to continually like convert. We're constantly like converting ourselves to get closer to God, because that road looks very hilly. There's hills and valleys in that. And I looked it up, and it says, I said, can I constantly convert as a Catholic, growing deeper in my faith? And it says, yes, in Catholic tradition, conversion isn't a one-time event, but a lifelong process of continuous transformation and turning closer to God. The Church emphasizes that every Catholic, including cradle Catholics, is called to ongoing interior renewal, deeper intimacy with Christ, and growth in holiness. So frequenting the sacraments, regularly receiving the Eucharist, regularly going to confession, that's foundational for clearing away spiritual obstacles and receiving grace. Deepening our daily prayer, so setting aside consistent time for mental prayer, whether that's morning prayer, evening prayer, Angelus, 6-12-6, and reading scripture, going to adoration, having a devotion such as Divine Mercy Chaplet or the Rosary, and then also here it says, learn and reflect, explore rich Catholic spiritual classics, or participate in parish faith formation studies to continually nourish your understanding of the faith. So being plugged in to our faith outside of just going to our obligatory Sunday Mass and Holy Days of Obligation, be plugged in. Being Catholic means that we're continuously every day trying to get closer to Him, because there's never going to be a time where you know everything. Even the people who know theology, they don't know everything. They're still getting closer to God, and it's not a race either. Don't hold yourself back from having relationships and building that community with other people because you feel like you don't know enough. We all, like, at some point, we were all babies. We didn't know anything. We had to be taught. And it doesn't matter what age you are, just start. And those stumbling blocks along the way, ask for people to pray for you. Pray for yourself. Someone asked me if they could pray for themselves. I said, yeah, you better. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Pray for yourself.
See, and then, like, for me, I struggled with trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? Like you said, now that I'm Catholic, I don't think we should distance ourselves. Like, I struggled with that. What type of music can I listen to now? What kind of show should I be watching? All this other stuff that, like, you don't have to take your self away from, but know, if it's maybe cussing that you're struggling with, maybe change the type of music. I will say that, like, I got closer with God the more I listened to Christian music, and kind of brought that back and brought it more into my life. So then when I went back and tried to listen to old music that I used to listen to, it was kind of hard, because then there was so much cussing or different profanity.
You had
or
the
sexual.
ears to hear.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, I don't know about this. I don't know about this.
It's like the veil was lifted and you can see it.
Yeah.
Dude, so we just went to a wedding on Saturday. It was a family wedding. And we went to a wedding like a month before that. And I have this friend. I texted him. We were at this wedding a month ago, and Michael's on the floor dancing, right? He's just like having fun with his coworkers. And I'm sitting back because it's like very provocative songs, like things that I used to shake my booty to.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be getting down like I used to, because now I know. Well, I was texting my friend and I was like, hey, just wondering, since you're Catholic, like, what do you think about like the music at weddings? Should I like, I don't know, I'm kind of mad about it. Should I not be on the dance floor? Like, should I sit back? What do I do? And he was like, pray for them. Like, you still want to have fun, but
Yeah.
yeah, you could sit back. And I was like, okay. So we went to this wedding this past Saturday, and this friend was there. And I was like, these same songs came on, like a few of them. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit down. And I just like sat down with the kids and like hung out. And I saw like some of my friends on the dance floor. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Like,
It's kind of different because it's like some of the songs like I still like, oh, okay, I like and stuff like that. And then there's some songs that are kind of like, okay, this is like a bit much now, and like I don't know that I find the same enjoyment in the songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then there's even some music now that like, at least in the Hispanic culture, they're called corridos, where they like sing more about basically the life of a drug person and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my, I don't know about this. You know, so
like, what is it invoking in you? Is it invoking you a desire to like want to do those things?
I think it's definitely knowing what you're okay with listening to. And then also, like you said, like, what is it invoking in you? Is it making you feel like you should go out there on the dance floor and shake your booty like no tomorrow? And yeah, pay attention to those. You know, music always goes into it because that's a big controversial thing too, like with like rap songs or something like that, whether or not it's invoking things in younger kids and wanting to do drugs or be part of gangs.
It's in all genres. If you pay attention,
really
it's in all genres. It's not just rap. I think it is a good thing to discern what you are consuming.
Yeah.
When I was going through that desert, honestly, I cut everything off. If it wasn't Catholic, I didn't want anything to do with it. And that was my scrupulosity at play, like where I was thinking like everything was a sin. But then like the closer I got to God and the more people I opened myself up to, I realized it's okay to consume like secular things. I just got to be careful because like what in the music or what in the shows that I'm watching, what is trying to entice me, like to pull me away.
I literally just had this conversation with my oldest daughter because we were talking about, you know, she's at the age where it's kind of like, okay, you're tearing, like being able to watch more mature shows and not little kid shows. Almost all the shows you have now. So it's like, you just have to make sure you're like, you know, your faith, you know, what we believe in, you know, what you believe in. So you got to make sure, like, when you're watching these, because what they want to do is invoke you to be able to do, you know, whatever they're trying to tell you is okay within these shows. Whenever you start having those thoughts, okay, this is my time to set this show aside and lean on prayer about where to go about with this episode or with the show or whatever it may be. So it's like having those conversations now is crazy. You know, because it's not even just like the same sex. It could be also about drugs, you know, a movie about kids going out to parties and stuff like that and taking drugs, or maybe even, I mean, PG-13 now is not PG-13 that when I was growing up. So the sexuality and what they're doing sexually and stuff like that. So, and I can't, as much as I would love to, I can't sit there and watch every last bit of episode that she's watching. And I can minimize what she consumes to the best of my ability. But let's be real. I was a teenager too. You know, they're going to learn things from their friends. They're going to learn things from other stuff that they see, whatever. So it's in teaching them to be grounded
Pay attention
in their faith.
to what they're feeling.
What they're feeling.
And when to pull away.
Yeah. And their morals.
I don't have preteens yet, so I don't know what that's like. And I remember what I was watching at that age.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know what I was watching.
So if there's any moms out there right now with preteens or teenagers and you have any advice or you'd like to just share your experience, let us know, because we're on this journey together. Yeah, it is hard. Like, I mean, I know my 7-year-old now, like he's wanting to watch like other things, and I'm like, I don't know how to navigate this yet. I mean, he's still watching kid shows, so I'm kind of like hoping that lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's hard when they get to that preteen stage, because you know what? I think the preteen stage can almost be like our conversion stage, where we we want to watch things, but then should we watch it? Or what can I watch? What can I cannot watch? What I can watch? What is, I feel like we've had these conversations with her where she's also like, I'm very happy and she talks with me. So like I said, like I feel like it's almost like that same conversion, except she's not a convert. She's growing up in this faith.
Well, we just talked about this. You're constantly converting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lifelong process of conversion.
And so she's kind of trying to process everything and trying to figure things out as a teenager.
Apply it to her life now. All the things that you taught her foundationally as she was growing in the faith, now she actually has to apply it, and she gets to experience it. It is hard. It is hard because like what the world tells us to do is totally against what Christ taught us.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's why I'm like, I'm already setting the expectation now that at least one of my kids is going to stray. They're going to question things, and they're probably going to not hold fast to the Catholic faith, but I have confidence that they'll come back because they have this foundation. And there is so much depth and beauty to Catholicism.
And you know what? And just like groups have helped me, going to mom's groups, Alpha, and being volunteering in different things within the church, it's also helped her too. We've had conversations because she's in other youth groups too, and it's helped her to be able to know that she's not alone in everything that she's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If you at all got a preteen, get them involved within the church, and they'll find friends. They end up loving it. They realize that they're not by themselves. Yeah, so that's something to think about as a parent. Thank you for joining us on this podcast. Know that you are not alone in your conversion, and we pray for you if you are in that middle space, walking through the desert and, trying to figure out how to mesh your social life, your family life, friend life with your faith life.
If anything, this is the time to lean on other people. You don't have to expect them to be on the same journey with you, because everybody is on their own faith journey. It's truly on God's time. So just lean on them. And if anybody is Christian or does pray, even if they're not Christian, ask for those prayers. And whatever you're going through, no matter how hard it is, just try to remind yourself that you're having a very human experience, and there is someone out there who has experienced that or is currently going through it. So maybe even say a prayer for them. Say a prayer for yourself and them.